Oh, reggae is another bed. You liven up yourself and don't say no. You're gonna liven up yourself, 'cause I said so. You what you gonna do? You rock so, like you never did before, yeah. You dip so, dip through my door. You come so, oh yeah. You skank so, be alive today. You're gonna lighten up yourself and don't say no. You lighten up yourself, Big Daddy said so, yo. You lighten up yourself and don't be no drags. You liven up yourself, 'cause reggae is another bed. What you got? And I don't know. I'm trying to wonder why you act so. Yeah. Hey, did you hear what the man said? Liven up your woman in the morning time, y'all. Ah! Keep a liven up your woman when the evening come and take you. Come on, baby, 'cause I wanna be lively myself, y'all.
chase you out of earth.
I want to Now, a great song of the century.
I throw the comb away, since I throw the comb away, lift me now. Since I throw the comb away, oh yeah. Since I throw the comb away, my mommy don't wanna see me no more. My papa said don't come at the house no more. I used to be the pride of the family, but now I'm the black sheep. Ever since I throw mama comb away. Ever since I threw the comb away. Throw mama comb away. Throw mama comb away. I got fired from my job last Monday. my qualification. I'm a hard-working man. Why this victimization? Is it because I'm a Rasta man? When your mother and your father forsake you, and your boss man discriminating you, that's the time Judge of the Almighty will take care of you. So I told him, go away with your victimization. I told him to go away with his discrimination, your victimization.
Live if you wanna live. Rastaman vibration, yeah.
Positive,
That's what we got to give. I and I vibration, yeah.
positive,
Got to have a good vibe. I am an iration, yeah.
Irites,
Whoa, whoa. Positive vibration, yeah.
positive,
If you get down and you quarrel every day, you're saying prayers to the devils, I say. Oh, why not help one another on the way? Make it much easier.
just
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
easier.
Say you just can't live that negative way. If you know what I mean, make way for the positive day. 'Cause it's news and days, new time. And if it's a new feeling, look here, said it's a new science. Oh, what a new day. Picking up. Are you picking up now? Jah love,
Protect us,
Jah love, Jah love,
protect us,
Jah love, Jah love.
protect us.
Rastaman vibration, yeah.
Positive,
I and I vibration, yeah. Positive. Yeah. I am an iration, yeah.
Irites,
Whoa. Positive vibration, yeah.
positive,
Picking up. now you realize that crime don't pay, no.
You got to hold your head up high, cause if you don't, you're bound to cry. Mama, boy, I shoulda listened, Papa, boy. I know me, I go missing, Mama, boy. I shoulda listened, Papa, boy. I know me, I go missing. They talking this and they talking that, but they never ever seems to hit the right spot. No, 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 no. Everyone, they have their own religion, so you have to make your own decision. Whether good or whether bad, it make you happy and it make you sad. Mama, boy, I shoulda listened, Papa, boy. I know me, I go missing, Mama, boy. I shoulda listened, Papa, boy. I know me, I go missing. Hey. No, 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 no.
No, 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 no.
Selassie, yeah.
You say you gonna change your ways, and now you realize that crime don't pay, yeah, no.
You got to hold your head up high, cause if you're down, you're bound to pay, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yo. Got to listen what I got to say, yeah. Badness don't pay now. Don't go for your gun, yeah, yeah. Mama, boy.
Mama, boy, mama, boy, mama, boy.
Oh, yeah. All right, Mama, boy, I shoulda listened, Papa, boy. I know me, I go missing, Mama, boy. I shoulda listened, Papa, boy. I know me, I go missing, Mama, boy. I shoulda listened, Papa, boy. I know me, I go missing, Mama, boy. I shoulda listened, Papa, boy. I know me, I go missing.
Nowadays them a breed, twist and them a plot. I and not the dreadlocks. Nowadays them a breed, twist and them a plot, but I and not the dreadlocks. Remember way back when Rasta had no friend, when he was down on his luck and couldn't find a buck. Babylon and his friend, there ain't no end. I and I a penitentiary. But boy, they ma run things, and with a jam down a over foreign. But boy, I feel run things, yeah. Enough bad man live in a foreign. Shot a clock over in a matches lane. Grandmama all her head in pain, trying to get Johnny one visa. Send him a foreign, life would be easier. Down the lane, fire one pop. Now in a foreign, fire big glock. Live from yard, you call him exporting. Now in return, you call him the booty bad boy.
Bad boys,
Them a run things, yeah. Enough bad man live in a foreign. Bad boy,
bad boys,
I feel run things, whoa, whoa. Enough bad man live in a foreign. Cockburn pen, elementary. Graduate down a cash a faculty. But in the ghetto is Brooklyn, New York, you can't just shadow in the dark. So you see, we juggling skills I set up roots in a Cyprus Hills. Bad boy,
Bad boys,
them a run things, yeah. With a jam down arena foreign. Bad boy,
bad boys,
off the run things, yeah. No bad man live in a foreign. Back in the days, this was like a ghost town, and every day, just another showdown. 18 got Cyprus pan lock, before the nigga man a jig and run the block. So you see, we juggling skills. We set up roots in a Cyprus Hill. Left from yard as an exportee. Now in return, you they call him the putty bad boy.
bad boys,
If we run things, yeah. I know bad man live in a foreign. Bad boy,
bad boys,
them a run things, yeah. I know bad man live in a foreign. You remember way back when Rasta had no friend, when he was down on his luck and couldn't find a book. Babylon and his friend, there ain't no end. I a penitentiary. Them a braid, them a twist. Enough for them a plot and I naughty dreadlocks. Them a braid, them a twist, and enough for them a plot, but I naughty dreadlocks. Roots naughty, naughty, I naughty dreadlocks. Roots naughty, naughty, I naughty dreadlocks. Them a braid, them a twist. Don't for them a plot, but I naughty dreadlocks. Them a braid, them a twist. Don't for them a plot, I naughty dreadlocks. You remember way back when Rasta had no friend, when he was down on his luck and couldn't find a book. Babylon and his friend, there ain't no.
Every man got the right to decide his own destiny. And in this judgment there is no partiality. So arm in arms with arms, we'll fight this little struggle. 'Cause that's the only way we can overcome a little trouble. Brother, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're right, you're so right. We gon' fight, we'll have to fight, we gonna fight, fight for our rights. Not to trade it in a
Zimbabwe,
set it up in
Zimbabwe,
mash it up in a Zimbabwe. Africans are liberate.
Zimbabwe,
No more internal power struggle. We come together to overcome the little trouble. Trash it in a Zimbabwe. Mash it up in a Zimbabwe. Set it up in a Zimbabwe. Africans are liberate Zimbabwe. Africans are liberate Zimbabwe. Natty dub it in a Zimbabwe. Set it up in a Zimbabwe. Africans are liberate Zimbabwe. Every man got a right to decide.
So, I see them lying there wait. Standing at the gate. But yeah, I want my hand and I sing. Here we sing now. Lord. Murderer, blood is on your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take the life of another? Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill me today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? You can hide from man, but not your conscience. Oh no, damn the bread that's around, take the wine of violence. Allow yourself to be conquered by the serpent. Why you disobey the first commandment? Walk through the valley, I fear no pestilence. That is my weakness, and him and me evidence. Lift up my eyes from whence cometh death. Them coulda never escape this your judgment. Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? I tell you no, all man are created equal. But behind the trigger, it's a different sequel. Some a murder people, just a collect me and stop coming dirty acts. For the high official, you coulda wash your head till you can't wash no more. It is like an epidemic and you can't find a cure. Upper class you coulda rich, middle class whether you poor. Only the righteous who won't feel insecure. You ever think about your skull getting bored? Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? Stop talking sulfur bitters, no bitter like your head. Only God can help you. No family, no friend, no let the curse be upon your children. Children bend the ghost and round me shot. Daniel in the den, Jonah in the whale belly, but he never condemn. Job with the leprosy, but still reach heaven. He will do for you, and I will tell you not for them. Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? What's more, you hide from man, but not your conscience. Oh no, you're the bread that's surrounding the wine of violence. Allow yourself to be conquered by the serpent. What make you disobey the first commandment? Walk through the valley, I fear no pestilence. God of me weakness, and the wonder evidence. Lift up my eyes from whence cometh death. They coulda never escape this your judgment. Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? I tell you, all man are created equal. But behind the trigger, it's a different sequel. Some are murder people, just sit and let me not stop coming dirty acts. For the high official, you coulda wash your head. Them say you can't push no more. It's like an epidemic, you won't find a cure. Upper class, you coulda.
Oh God, good God Almighty. I'd like to say this. We no want no
No, no, no warrior.
No warrior.
What we want
What we want.
is that we can carry on.
Hurry up.
Carry on.
Hurry up.
These are the words I heard my mama say. My mama say, idle donkey fall a cane bump. Gonna pound. It's gonna pound. Wise man live in God's house. Right. No, we never chose stone. No, we never chose stone. Babe, we no want. No, no, no warrior. We don't want what we want.
What we want.
As that we can carry on.
Hurry up.
One more thing. There is a question I'd like to ask. Why the first they say shall be the last, shall be the last. Wisdom is more than silver and gold. What you sell today, tomorrow you sold. We no want.
We know
We don't want. No, no, no warrior. Them saying sorry, what we want
what we want.
is that we can carry on.
Hurry up.
Carry on.
Hurry up.
We no want.
We know
No, no, no warrior. No, you know, sister, don't carry on. What we want.
what we want.
And that we can carry on. We don't want no kind of we no, no. Good God Almighty.
I love to pop herbs. Some morning, noon, and night. Love to pop herbs. Make me feel alright. Love to pop herbs. Some morning, noon, and night. Love to pop herbs. Make me feel alright. Yo, every morning when I wake up, before I exercise, I do my meditation with my ganja by my side. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it help me with my problems and my stress throughout the day. Lord, I love smoking since a million, and I never stop anyway. I love to pop herbs. Some morning, noon, and night. Love to pop herbs. Make me feel alright. Love to pop herbs. Some morning, noon, and night. Love to pop herbs. Make me feel alright. Yo, every time I see the ganja man come around, it put a smile on my face, 'cause he knows I'm in town. Gonna meet all nice and nice, gonna give me what I need. It's a high grade sense of million, concentrated cali weed. I love to pop herbs. Some morning, noon, and night. Love to pop herbs. Make me feel alright. Love to pop herbs. Some morning, noon, and night. Love to pop herbs. Make me feel alright. Oh,
I'm a man of prayer. None of my doings shall never go wrong. I'm a man of prayer. None of my doings shall never go wrong. Jah hear I when I cry. Jah hear I when I cry. 'Cause I'm a great meditator. Yes, I'm a great meditator. Wicked around like a roaming lion, trying to destroy thy sons and daughters. Wicked around like a roaming lion, trying to destroy thy sons and daughters. Although I trod through the valley of Babylon, although I trod through the valley of those wicked men, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me from the beginning till this day on. On and on and on, on and on and on, on and on and on, on and on and on and on. Jah hear I when I cry. Jah hear I when I cry. 'Cause I'm a great meditator. Yes, I'm a great meditator. Wicked around like a roaming lion, trying to destroy thy sons and daughters. Say the wicked around like a roaming lion, trying to destroy thy sons and daughters. But Jah hear I when I cry. Jah hear I when I cry. Jah hear I when I cry.
The helmet of salvation on his head, and by his hand and arm the triumph led. The ancient judge, the youthful warrior, the man of battles, terrible in war. He's the ancient judge and the youthful warrior, the man of battles, terrible in war. Because his head all shining with the dew of light, his locks all dripping with the drops of night. I glorify him, for his joy is in me. My crown of beauty shall ever be. 'Cause his head all shining with the dew of light, his locks all dripping with the drops of night. I glorify him, for his joy is in me. My crown of beauty shall ever be. The ancient judge and the youthful warrior, the man of battles, terrible in war. He's the ancient judge and the youthful warrior, man of battles, terrible in war. The helmet of salvation on his head, and by his hand and arm, the triumph led. Because his head all shining with the dew of light, his locks all dripping with the drops of night. I glorify him for his joys in me. My crown of beauty shall ever be the ancient judge and the youthful warrior, the man of battles, terrible in war. He's the ancient judge and the youthful warrior, the man of battles, terrible in war. Because his head all shining with the dew of light, his locks all dripping with the drops of night. I glorify him for his joys in me. My crown of beauty shall ever be the ancient judge and the youthful warrior, the man of battles, terrible in war. He's the ancient judge and the youthful warrior, man of battles, terrible in war.
If anything should mash up my head, so play the music me can't get. Joy in music prolongs, gives me life to praise Jah. Emotion with music, getting what we want, getting what we need. Emotion with music, getting what we want, getting what we need. Oh, rock like a children rock, rock like a children rock, yeah. Rock like a children rock, rock like a children rock. Dancing, stepping in a rhythm passion, dancing. Go there, dancing. Let the music rock me, dancing away. I love Jah, I praise Jah, forget me not, no. I love Jah, I praise Jah, forget me not, no. I love Jah, I praise Jah, forget me not, no. I love Jah, I praise Jah, forget me not, no. Burdens to haunt me, no pressures to taunt me. Cause Zion is, cause Zion I, cause Zion is, cause Zion I. Destiny, yeah. Our children rock like so. Our children stand like so. Our children rock like so. Our children stand like so. I praise Jah, forget me not, no. I love Jah, I praise Jah, forget me not, no. I love Jah, I praise Jah, forget me not, no. I love Jah, I praise Jah, forget me not, no. No burdens to haunt me, no pressures to taunt me. Cause Zion is, cause Zion I, cause Zion is, cause Zion I. Destiny, yeah. Like so, like so, like so, like so.
labor and you sell your soul. Well, my friend, all your best. Sell your soul for a piece of gold. And they and their companions slay. Steady through the night. Not a baby mama wept. For a baby's life. Chase them, run them politicians. When I see them, I get bold. Chase them, run them politicians. When I see them, I get cold. Chase them, Lord them politicians. When I see them, I get cold. Chase, run, run, run. Tell you what, get them on, get them on. Get them on, yeah. Get them on, get them on. Get them on, yeah. Run them away. Run them away. Run them
We play more hits for you.
So tired, she wanna rest. Flesh of my skin, blood of my blood. If only you were like my brother, that's of the black ways of my mother. Flesh of my skin, blood of my blood. Her eyes have seen her children grow. She have seen them die. Oh, how she cried. She has produced a bliss. She has produced a bliss. She has produced a bliss. I said, oh, 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 oh. Free my child, free my child. Keep me weary, so tired. She wanna rest. Flesh of my skin, blood of my blood. If only you were like my brother, that's of the black race of my mother. Flesh of my skin, blood of my blood. Her eyes have seen her children go. She have seen them die. Oh, how she cries. Oh, flesh of my skin. Oh, blood of my blood. Oh, blood of my blood.
certain employees up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave for family emergencies. And news is next.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Lakshmi Singh. The fate of a border security bill faces more uncertainty in the U.S. Senate as the chamber prepares to hold a test vote this week. Minority Leader Mitch McConnell spoke a short time ago.
The gaping hole in our nation's sovereign borders on President Biden's watch is not going to heal itself.
But Majority Leader Chuck Schumer echoed concerns voiced by both Democrats and Republicans, the need to pass additional foreign aid to Israel, as well as Ukraine's defense against Russian forces loyal to President Vladimir Putin.
If we fail the Ukrainian people, then Vladimir Putin will likely succeed in his invasion of Ukraine. Putin will be emboldened, and Western democracy will face the greatest threat it has seen in decades.
NPR's Jasmine Garz reports Senate Republicans and Democrats released their compromise package last night.
The deal comes after Republicans demanded more border enforcement in exchange for sending aid to Ukraine and Israel. It includes making it more difficult to claim asylum at the border, expanding migrant detention capacity, and shutting down the border to new entrants if more than 8,500 people attempt to cross on any given day. President Biden has implored Congress to pass the bill and send it to his desk as soon as possible. But with several House Republican leaders expressing vocal opposition to the deal and former President Donald Trump campaigning against it, some lawmakers are saying it has no chance of moving forward. Jasmine Garst, NPR News, New York.
California is getting hit by the second major winter storm in a week. NPR's Michael Copley reports that when these storms happen one after another, the damage can be devastating.
California didn't have time to dry out before heavy rain and wind started pounding the state yet again. The storm is the result of an atmospheric river. It's a band of water vapor in the sky that can dump huge amounts of rain and snow. They're natural phenomena that deliver most of the precipitation western states need for crops and drinking water. But when they come in rapid succession, they can inflict huge economic costs. That's because areas that are already soaked are more likely to experience severe flooding and debris flows. Research published this year found expected losses are more than 3 times greater when an atmospheric river is part of a sequence of storms. Climate change is expected to make these kinds of storm systems even more intense. Michael Copley, NPR News.
Buckingham Palace has announced that Britain's King Charles has been diagnosed with cancer. Villa Marks has more.
Buckingham Palace did not share details of the cancer or Charles's prognosis, despite an unusually detailed recent account of the King's prostate treatment that he'd said was intended to raise awareness about that condition. He's beginning what his office called regular treatments, and though he'll continue to fulfill his constitutional role of head of state, he will not carry out public duties for the time being.
That's Villa Marks reporting. This is NPR News. The next official race for the GOP presidential nomination takes place in Nevada. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is listed on the ballot for tomorrow's state-run primary. But the frontrunner, former President Donald Trump, is not on that. He's running 2 days later in the GOP-organized caucus, where Nevada's 26 delegates will actually be awarded, and all are expected to go to Trump. The parent company of Snapchat says it is cutting 500 employees' jobs, which is about 10% of its staff worldwide. NPR's Bobby Allen reports this comes as Silicon Valley conducts a fresh round of layoffs this year.
Snapchat, like most social media apps, makes nearly all of its money from digital advertising, and there's been a substantial pullback in digital advertising spending in recent months. In a regulatory filing, the messaging app's parent company, Snap, told investors it is laying off 500 employees. It's the latest example of the tech industry contracting this year. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and others have slashed staff. In all, more than 30,000 tech workers have lost their jobs so far in 2024. Analysts say while digital advertising has been in a rough patch, many of the cuts are aimed at satisfying investors who are demanding leaner companies and higher profits. The company will report quarterly earnings on Tuesday. Bobby Allen, NPR News.
Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the central bank remains on track to cutting interest rates 3 times this year. In an interview that aired on CBS's 60 Minutes last night, Powell cited a strong jobs market in assessing the U.S. economy as, quote, in a good place. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closes down 274 points, roughly 0.75%. This is NPR.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include UCSF Health. The human brain is complex. The neurological specialists at UC San Francisco are dedicated to finding new and better ways to treat it. More at ucsfhealth.org/greatmind.
Endorse the ghetto youth, them make them well bright. Africa shall rise. You know, see, say poor people are get wise. Gonna ramp with me again. King Selassie, endorse the ghetto youth, them make them well bright. Jerusalem shall rise. You know, see, say judge of people are get wise. Oh, the game up and down just like a yo-yo. Me smoke, me sense me, I'm full joy the show. Babylon speed up, so me have to move slow. Them say me lack a knowledge, but me lack them with the flow. Them teach me to say yes, and me still a say no. Them tell me fi stop, and me still go. Them tell me fi cut, and me still grow. Rastafari say so. Me a praise King Selassie, and endorse the ghetto youth, them make them well bright. Africa shall rise. You know, see, say poor people are get wise. You know, ramp with me again. King Selassie, endorse the ghetto youth, them make them well bright. Jerusalem shall rise. You know, see, say judge of people are get wise. Whoa, the road to Zion rocky, but we still a walk. We move out of Babylon, them still attack. We keep the fire burning and them shut it off. So back it off now, judgment time now. Emperor Selassie, I rule the earth. I and I bright from birth. No anchor for me wrist, no blood for me shirt. Babylon, me heart still a hurt. So me praise Selassie, and endorse the ghetto youth, them make them well bright. Africa shall rise. You know, see, say poor people are get wise. You know, ramp with me again. King Selassie, endorse the ghetto youth, them make them well bright. Jamaica shall rise. You know, see, say judge of people are get wise. Whoa, them drop down them soul, me not drop down me fate. Babylon Christ, better sit down and wait. Got me well settled and me just keep it straight. You reach, little bit too late. Go on and praise King Selassie, and endorse the ghetto youth, them make them well bright. Africa shall rise. You know, see, say poor people are get wise. You know, ramp with me again. King Selassie, endorse the ghetto youth, them make them well bright. Jerusalem shall rise. You know, see, say judge of people are get wise. Whoa, give thanks and praise to the Most High.
I don't know what that song is. I can't find the song. Splish, I was taking a crap.
We are smarter at music than your smart speaker. One Montserrat Radio, the people's choice.
Very short cold open because we're here to continue the saga of the Oak Island Money Pit. But before we get to that, I just wanted to quickly say thank you to everybody who has filled out the survey that we mentioned that you can get to on our homepage at astonishinglegends.com. Please keep those answers coming because it helps us identify sponsors who want to work with us and proves that real people are listening and we're not just saying that real people are listening.
It really is only 6 easy questions.
Yeah, they're very simple.
They don't make you dig out your tax forms or anything like that. It's very simple. You should know the answers already.
Yes.
I would think. Yes.
Yeah. It takes less than 15 seconds, really.
Very painless.
Yes. So anyway, thanks to everybody who's already done it. And if you haven't, please stop on by the website and check that out. Tonight, we're not really going to do a long cold open because we've got a lot of material to cover. So let's get to it. Welcome back to Astonishing Legends. I'm Scott Philbrook, and this is Forrest Burgess.
There is a lot more to the true story of Oak Island, and someday it will be told in full. Reginald Harris, former Grand Master and Grand Historian, Nova Scotia Masons.
Join us tonight for part 2 of our series on the Oak Island Money Pit. Okay, so jumping back into the fray here on Oak Island, I want to just quickly recap what we covered in part 1 for those people that aren't binge listening to our show, which apparently some people do.
And thank you for doing that.
Yes, thank you very much.
Taking several hours out of your weekend.
Yes, but if you're coming to this one and you don't remember what we said in part 1, just quickly, we discussed how the money pit was originally discovered and what happened during the first 100 years of exploration of it. It's too much to recap here, but I would honestly, if you haven't heard that part yet, I would go back and listen to that before you pick up here, because everything leading up to this is very significant as it relates to the story going forward. That said, before we go too far tonight, one of the things that we want to do is do a little bibliography, and we're going to have links to these books on our website. If you're really into this story, which I was, I mean, I've been into it since I was in college. And
me before. Well, you know what? I think I was thinking about this, and I couldn't remember exactly where I heard it as a kid, but it may have been that Reader's Digest article that inspired Dan Blankenship and also Rick Lagina,
the current searchers
from the History Channel show, and a few other folks. What I remembered as a kid is that this sounds impossible. What do you mean it keeps going on? And of course, I wanted to know what's at the bottom of this thing.
Yeah, and I even tried to write a screenplay about it in college, in a screenplay class. Had a really great teacher, actually. And I got in trouble because I couldn't think what to put down there that would rival, and that wouldn't seem cheesy.
Well, but you have, National Treasure turned into an exciting movie. They hit on some themes, the Masonic angle, this and that, the Founding Fathers, all that plays into our story tonight.
Yes.
In a way. But, of course, it's very Hollywood. I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence. So it makes it kind of...
Can we just get through one episode without you doing an impression?
We've gone through a lot of it. Go ahead and back that up. Go ahead and take that out. Please. No, because I'll do some...
I'm leaving it now.
No.
All right, let's
gold, baby.
Let's cite our books.
Right.
We pulled very heavily from some books that are just really amazing about Oak Island. One of them is called The Secret Treasure of Oak Island, the amazing true story of a centuries-old treasure hunt. And that one is by Darcy O'Connor, who is famously been involved with every iteration of the project he could be as long as he's been alive.
Yeah, he's a Montreal-based journalist, I think.
Yes.
And, you know what? If you want to see him, he's in the In Search of episode that's on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, we posted a link to that with part 1.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah,
and he's on there. You can see him as a young man. And
that was the 70s, people.
Yeah.
That's how long he's been checking this out.
But this is the pull of this story. There's so many of these people have found out about it early on in their lives or from their 20s on into their 50s and stuck with it, and some never gave up on it.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So it's drawn people into it for the rest of their lives.
And what's the other book the
one that I first read that kind of rekindled the story for me and got me really interested again is called Oak Island Secrets by Mark Finnan. And he is he's a journalist as well. He's done some screenwriting. He's done a little bit of acting. He's done a little bit of journalism. He's done many different kinds of jobs, but he was also brought into this story by a chance visit out to the area, and people started talking about it, and that's all it took.
He just got sucked in.
Yeah,
and you've been corresponding with him this past week or two, haven't you?
I found an email address for him. Didn't know if it worked, but just thought I'd send. You know, it kind of reminded me of Connections and Collections.
Connections and
you send you send
Collections
a letter.
And Connections.
There we go.
It's a few episodes ago.
You send a letter out into the ether, and you don't know what's going to come back. But he was gracious enough to write me back, just answered a couple of questions that
very detailed.
Very detailed, and of course he covered it more also in the later parts of the book I hadn't got to, so you feel a little embarrassed about that. But
sure.
But no, he was very kind of him, very detailed, and he is definitely one of the authorities. Has interviewed a lot of the folks that were still alive at the time and still kicking. I also like the way he wrote it. It's not just a bunch of dry facts. It really gets you into the story.
Yes. So Oak Island Secrets and also The Secret Treasure of Oak Island, 2 really great books if you want to dive into this stuff yourself. Okay. So when we left off last time, it wasn't quite the first 100 years. It was the first 75 or 80.
I think we stopped around 1867.
Yes, 1867. Yeah. Before we get back into it, though, there was a couple of things that you wanted to highlight about from part 1, right?
Yes. I just want to give a couple of bullet points here, because
they're really significant.
Yeah,
finds,
because these are important, and there's a find that's coming up we haven't talked about yet, but it's similar to what has already been found in 1849, and I just want to make a differentiation because these are the 2 big finds so far directly in the money pit.
Right.
So here we go. In 1849, this is when they start first using a pod auger, which is just imagine a large drill bit that I think has a hollow end on it that can bring up some stuff like coring samples. And so here in 1849, the Truro Company finds spruce platforms they drill into. Okay, this is something that's not just dirt or clay or coconut fiber even. This is solid wood here, picking up at the 98-foot level. So that's where the other folks left off. If you remember, they poked it with an iron bar, heard a solid thud, came back the next day, flooded.
Yes.
So now they're back down there, and they drill through what appears to be a 6-inch thick platform of spruce. Then the auger drops down about a foot, then comes in contact with 4 inches of oak, solid oak, and then metal in loose pieces. Which, to explain that, they're going in blind here. They're just poking around. But these guys know what different things sound like.
Yes, and
feel
like.
Yes. So when it's rattling around, or it hits something solid, or it feels like wood or mud, they're experienced enough to know what these things sound like. Except, of course, they didn't bring anything up. They can just hear this thing rattling around, which sounds like it's hitting loose metal.
Yes.
Then they go down, and that lasts for about 22 inches. Then they go down and hit another 8-inch section of wood. And they think here that this is the bottom of the first chest and maybe the top of the second chest.
Right.
And then again, 22 inches of loose metal, 4 inches of oak, and then another 6 inches of spruce. What we're trying to make a picture here is that it sounds now like there's 2 chests
on top of each other
that they have poked through because they can tell that that's what it sounds like.
And thus, by the way, begins the destruction of valuable artifacts.
Well, yeah, this is, I mean, look, I see it both ways because, these guys, let's wait around another 150 years for modern technology to come around. Like, no, these guys, they haven't figured out the clues that they've been seeing. The beach stones that had the strange markings on them, the 90-foot stone, as it's called, with all its strange symbols on that. So they're not going to wait around to figure this out. And now they got the problem of water, so they're just going at it.
Yeah,
and of course,
a little frantically.
No, and it is horrible because whatever's down there is being destroyed in the name of finding it. Okay, so then that was a big find in 1849. Another thing they find are 3 gold chain links, which at the time, they looked like they were from a military uniform epaulet, which is you've probably seen them in old Civil War uniforms. They're hanging down, but there's a bit of chain that's gold as decorative on the shoulders.
And by the way, to date, this is the only possibly precious metal, although it was never tested. Right?
It was. I think at the time that's what they determined. I mean, gold is fairly easy.
Also could have come from a pocket watch or something like that.
Yes, exactly. It was just small gold chain links.
Yes.
But again, what does it do? It's enough to fuel people on to think like, wow, there's gold a little bit. There's something down there.
O'Connor said at the end of his book there was speculation that the guy who found the gold chain links heard one of the major shareholders or investors at the top of the pit say, if we don't find something by the end of the week, we're shutting down.
There you go.
So you got to wonder, it's a little bit suspect.
Right.
But it's the only thing, it's the only time the word gold is applied to anything that's come up from the pit to date, right?
Well, a little later on, William Chappell claims to have found a little bit of gold on the auger drill bit, but didn't say anything either. So, again, this is another theme that plays out. People are playing this close to the vest. This could be the biggest treasure find ever.
Or we just drilled a hole through the Grail.
Yeah. But
although it's not made of gold. It's probably a wooden cup or something.
Well, the cup of a carpenter.
Yeah. Anyway.
But they...
I digress.
Yeah, they keep finding things. And again, Pitt Blotto finds something that he thinks is interesting enough that he puts in his pocket and doesn't share it.
Yeah, never shared it with anyone. And in fact, tried to take over the island.
He came back and
also a Mason, right, Mr. Pitt Blotto?
Yes,
we got a lot of
competing
so. Masons.
Yeah, mostly they're doing mostly they're trying to do the right thing. Right. Some are trying to do it for their own benefit a little bit more than for history.
So now you're coming to the last bit of our
a little bit here. Yeah, so here we go. 1850, Truro finds a flooding system at Smith's Cove, and they dig a pit to a depth of 118 feet, and then dig a 3-foot by 4-foot tunnel towards the pit. But guess what? The treasure platform collapses and the chests fall to the bottom. And they think they get sucked into one of the other tunnels they've been building because they're just gone.
Right.
Yeah, they can't find them anywhere. But one thing they did find, as this connecting tunnel collapses and water is now rushing through there, a worker does find a dish-shaped piece of yellow painted wood that landed at his feet.
Right.
So again, more artifacts are being found that just don't point to something being a natural sinkhole or, there's obviously evidence of a very cleverly engineered and man-made contraption, shall we say, at this point.
Sophisticated.
Very sophisticated.
You know what? It's like I thought about it, and I keep coming back to the chess
Yeah.
analogy, but this is like playing an invisible grandmaster.
That has
whatever you
well, you know
think.
what? There's moves ahead of you. You don't know about yet.
Yes,
Yeah.
and no one's been able to match wits with him. So yet,
That's the
whoever
problem.
It was.
And you know what it is?
I don't mean to be sexist. It could have been a woman. I'm just saying the engineer who put it in place, whoever came up with it, nobody has been able to match wits with this person.
And the way they're going at it is instead of trying to outdo their opponent by clever moves, they're drilling up through the table and the chessboard trying to suck the chess piece down through the bottom.
Yeah,
that's kind of what they're trying to muscle it out because that's the only way they know how at this point.
Yes. After 1867, there was another period of not a whole lot going on for about 25 years, except for the story was growing and growing. People are researching and looking into it, but there's not a lot actually happening. And then something really interesting happens. Forrest, and maybe you can do this. Before we get to Sophia Sellers' story, maybe you can refresh our listeners' memories on Anthony Graves.
Yeah, Anthony Graves is interesting because he's one of the few individuals here in the story who comes to own, I think, either most or all of the island. And
Yes, early on, he bought originally from John Smith, who was one of the original discoverers.
Yeah, well, what happened in 1853, John Smith, now he's getting up there in age, so he deeds his property to his two sons, at least his property on the east end of the island.
Which is where the pit is.
Absolutely, right. And because his sons weren't that interested in looking for treasure or, they're probably just farming it. Most of the folks that were on the island just were doing that. They ended up selling their lots to Henry Stevens 4 years later. And he, in turn, sells it to Anthony Graves. And then by 1863 or so, he built himself a house and a farm and I think a barn there. He's near Jodrie's Cove. I think that's how you...
Yes, his house is near Jodrie's Cove. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's one of the first guys to have a lot of land on the island.
Yeah, he's got a good chunk of it on the east end there, and he's just farming. But one interesting thing, though,
but he was interested. He was interested.
Oh well, he maybe not in the money pit, but there was rumors going around that he was going into town and buying things on the mainland with Spanish coins.
That's right.
And which is pretty interesting because that was kind of a known thing, I think, at the time. And after his death, they found a Spanish coin on his property, and I think it was dated
near
around
the foundation of his house.
Right. And I think one of the coins was dated 1785. And then they also found some evidence that he'd been doing a little digging of his own. So he was going around.
Yeah, and here's
kind of
something
poking around.
He's going to come up again. He's a fascinating character, but one of the things that I'll say about all the different theories about why would he sell this, or why would his sons sell the land? It's like you say, well, they're not interested. It's just farming or whatever. Or maybe they knew their dad had already found whatever was there.
whatever was already there on his property.
That's right. And think about this. Let's say you own land on an island that supposedly has treasure hidden on it. If you find the treasure, or you're faced with the possibility of profiting from other people coming looking for it.
Yeah.
First of all, you don't say you found the treasure. You don't want to pay taxes on it. You don't want to tell anybody about it. Secondly, if people think it's still there, your land is worth a lot more than it would be.
Right. Right.
So there may be other reasons they were like, we will sell it.
Yeah.
Because maybe Dad already got everything.
Well, what fits in with another theory that I have about the whole operation in general from the beginning of time to the present day is that it wasn't just one group that was there. I believe personally that there were several different groups from different nationalities and causes and time periods that probably had visited the island and may not have buried anything there. There's another little story we're going to get to about finding some gold on there, not associated with a money pit. So there's a lot of little treasures and surprises on this island.
Yes. So Anthony had a lot of descendants. One of them was his oldest daughter. Her name was Sophia Sellers. That's her married name. And Sophia farmed the island herself. Her and her, I guess her husband. I don't know. There wasn't much mention of him, but
no,
I don't think she was doing it alone.
I think though that she was out running the oxen herself.
Yeah, that's what the story is. That she was running the oxen, and she was on the east end of the island, not far from where the pit had been discovered, on pretty much a neighboring lot, like right next to it. I think it was like lot 19 or 20 or something like that, but it's irrelevant because you listeners have no idea how the lots are laid out. So
Neither I would have to look also
into too much minutia here. But anyway, she was plowing a field one day with these two oxen on her land, which used to be Anthony Graves' land. And the oxen started to stumble and fall, and she fell, and they fell into a giant sinkhole.
Yeah.
Okay. And this hole was 6 feet by 8 feet by 10 feet deep. 10 feet deep.
Yeah.
All right. And so they're all down, and she's like trying to get the oxen out. She gets out. She actually didn't think much about it other than, okay, well, this sucks. My field's got a hole in it. She wasn't connecting it necessarily to the money pit, but the story grew about this hole, and it eventually became known as the cave-in pit, and it has expanded. It's still there today. It's nearly 75 feet or so across and thought to be 100 feet deep now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's overgrown. Like
right.
when you can actually see it on Google Earth or Google Maps, it looks just kind of like a little pond or something. There's trees right on the edge. Like you wouldn't know that was how it was created. Now, it's going to come up again later because future excavation companies theorized that the reason that it caved in was because it was over the intakes for the drains that were coming in from Smith's Cove that were flooding the tunnel, and that somehow there had been a collapse related to that.
Well, they think it may have been an old man-made air shaft, because think about it. I mean,
that's right. That's right.
What's curious? You brought this up in part 1 here. If you're actually digging a 2-foot by 4-foot tunnel that you can't even stand up in, remember you saying that, from all the way from the cove, from Smith's Cove, and you're going down 22 degrees, which is what they think the angle was, into the main pit, and then filling it up with beach boulders about the size of your head or twice the size of your head, it's been described, so that the dirt doesn't collapse in on the tunnel, leaving it still effective. The workers down there are going to need fresh air to keep working and digging.
Yeah, and that's a mark of engineering sophistication. It's not just a tunnel. Like if I was building it, I'm going to build a tunnel, the water will come through, it'll be a tunnel, the water will come through.
Yeah.
These people were like, well, this needs to be here 100 years or 200 years.
Or more, yeah.
Yes, we want the water can pass through these rocks, and the rocks can help hold it together. So they went to the trouble to fill it with these giant boulders, like Forrest was saying. Anyway, so an air shaft.
They think it may have been an air shaft because it was right in line between the money pit and Smith's Cove, where they think the water was coming in from.
Right. It's almost on a straight line. Not quite. It's a little bit off, but yeah. So it's the air shaft. The other there's also speculation that it might have been an access point for blocking the flood tunnel if you were the designer and you wanted to come back and retrieve things without flooding.
Yeah, because remember, they have to dig the pit first to make this thing work, and then put the booby trap in, because if you do that the other way around, you could possibly flood yourself while you're doing it.
Yeah,
it was very dangerous all the way around to begin with, so yeah.
I think it's almost a sure thing that people died during the construction of this project.
Well, we might see some evidence of that in the 70s.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, Sophia fell into this hole with her oxen, which is kind of crazy.
But you know what I was going to say? That happens quite a bit with archaeological discoveries. Somebody's animal, I believe a couple of things in Egypt were found that way. I was watching a special, and Zawi Hawass, who's the retired now.
Oh, yeah, that guy's
But he was explaining how...
the guy with the hat.
They all have hats.
Yeah.
Let's just get that
out.
But they all have hats.
The master of antiquities for Egypt.
Yeah, he was for a while, and he's a little bit controversial because he's not really been forthcoming with everything they
won't
found,
open the chamber at the Sphinx's feet, right? There's this chain what is supposed to be in that chamber? All the knowledge of the ages?
Part of it, yeah. Perhaps the Atlanteans. It's supposed to be a storehouse.
Is that really how you say that word? Atlanteans? Atlanteans?
I say Atlanteans. You probably say aluminium, though,
I do not say aluminium.
Anyway,
okay, fine.
Yeah. So,
anyway, they've confirmed that there's a room.
Well, apparently with ground-penetrating radar, there is a hollow space, which I think may have been described by Edgar Cayce.
Yeah, and they haven't opened. They've known this for years.
No, because
or they're doing it and not telling us. One or
yes, could be one of the reasons is that they think it may just totally upset all that we know about Egyptian ancient history.
All right, that's for another episode.
There you go. All right, thing. There's a couple of other things they found in around this time period, and just proves that other people have been here quite earlier. And I think around 1885, a bosun's whistle of ancient design, it was like bone or ivory or something carved, is found near the beach area below high tide. And also they find a copper coin, kind of heavy, about 1.5 ounces, dated 1713 or possibly 1317, which I found to be an odd note here. In the dialect. It's kind of dyslexic, but but an old coin.
Big difference.
Predating, though, the McGinnis boys' discovery in 1795.
Right. All right, so now we're in the 1890s, and along comes one of the most amazing guys to be involved in the project.
Yeah.
Fred Blair.
Yes.
Now, the cool thing about Blair was he was a very methodical man, and I really like his approach. I honestly feel like if we had ever had a shot of doing this, he started out the way we would have done it.
Just heavily researched.
He went to everyone who was still alive. He talked to everybody. He compiled all the information he could before he even really started to take his first steps, which is pretty amazing. In 1893, he forms the Oak Island Treasure Company, and their plan, and this is the plan that I guess he's come up with, is to block the main flood tunnel. When we talked about Smith's Cove and the 5-fingered tunnels all coming to a convergent point and maybe the cave-in pit being above or whatever, they think they can go and find a way to block the flood tunnel. Then they'll not have to worry about trying to pump the ocean out of the pit.
Well, that's been their main nemesis all along, and will continue to be for the rest of history. But if they can do that, then at least they can get down and start digging, because then it's not that hard. See, the thing is, with water like that coming in with such pressure from the tide,
right?
It's things are eroding. There's rocks and boulders flying around. It's kind of dangerous, and it makes it inaccessible.
Right. So anyway, they're doing a lot of work. One of the things that they did was they dug a new shaft 30 feet east of the money pit. The cave-in pit was about 300 feet east of the money pit. So they're going about 30 feet east to do this shaft. And by the way, we want to just quickly mention some of the terminology that we use. If we use casing or cribbing or... I shouldn't have said that I was going to explain this because I have no idea how to... Cribbing. Cribbing.
It's just wooden.
Well, cribbing is like that's the wood that you see in all the movies when everybody's in an old mine. And
that's what you hang your old miner's lamp
That's
from.
cribbing.
Yeah.
Casing is when you're in a vertical shaft. If you put like a metal pipe or something to protect the shaft. No.
Yeah.
Or when you're, it's also describes the pipe that's around a drill, like if you do a boring or whatever.
It's an outer layer that's protective, because this dirt will continue as you're working in there too. It's continually kind of falling off the walls, and it could kill somebody.
Yeah,
so
and it can cave in, especially if it's wet and
right. So and that's the other thing. There's a lot of erosion. I mean, they get Nova Scotia gets a lot of heavy rain, a lot of erosion, bad weather in the winter.
Yes,
often they would come back after the winter and things are totally eroded.
Yes.
So it's reinforcement. Yes, exactly.
So anyway, they drill this new pit 30 feet east of the shaft. It floods at 43 feet. So they abandon that one. They go back to the original money pit, and they're still having flooding problems. So now they're bringing in a steam pump, which actually is able to drain the money pit down to 97 feet. Okay, so it's during this time too that actually in March of 1897, we have our second death. This gentleman named Maynard Kaiser is being lifted out, and the rope that he's coming up on falls off the pulley, and he falls to his death.
Well, they think he was trying to hitch a ride up to the top. Again, it's a lot of climbing. It's a long ways down on one of the bailing casks. And
I didn't know that part. Okay.
Well, that's what I'd read. They think that he was trying to, basically take a little bit of a shortcut. I might try it too.
Yeah.
But his extra weight caused the rope to slip off the pulley, and he fell down a long ways and died.
Yeah. So, and by the way, he was from Gold River, which is where they think the original flagstone was from also.
Yeah, he's
just
local.
a couple miles away.
Right.
But there was a problem with Maynard's death, or Mr. Kaiser's death, I should say. It spooked everybody.
Especially the local guys, yeah.
Yeah, they were like, okay, we don't want to work on this anymore. This pit is going to kill everybody, and getting back to the rumor, 7 must die, we're now on number 2, and they're probably all thinking they're the next 5. So it took some convincing to get them to come back to work. And they did come back to work, and they did several months of work. And this is, again, with Fred Blair, who was thoroughly researched, but still, things can go wrong. They did several months of work only to find that they were in the wrong pit. They thought they were in the money pit, and they were completely out of position. So this is the kind of stuff that's going on. Eventually, the Oak Island Treasure Company actually discovers the Smith's Cove flood tunnel. And the water that's flooding through it is just too much to stop. So what they do is they create 5 big holes down to 90 feet over by the flood tunnel, and they jam them all up with dynamite.
Yeah, okay. I think just over 150 pounds of explosives were used just on the center shaft. And I think these shafts are about 5 inches wide, so it's enough to drop down a few sticks of dynamite.
Yeah.
And but that's their idea. Blow it up, get it to settle, and that should stop the water.
Yes, and here we are again blowing things up. Again,
well,
I mean,
at least you're away from the main pit.
Yeah, away from the main pit. Okay, so anyway, so they do this. They blow it up, and both the money pit and the cave-in pit foamed a lot from these explosions.
The water at the 30-foot level kind of boiled up and foamed.
Yeah, and there was oil in it from the dynamite. They could see that it definitely had made a connection. So they thought, okay, we're good here. So they go now down to 90 feet, and they set a platform up. They put a platform back in. This is sort of one of the ironies. Like, when you want to bore down and get information, you have to put something in to base your equipment on. So, you're removing, now you're putting something back. So you put something, by the way, and this comes up, these platforms, when there's a collapse or a cave-in or whatever, a lot of times they're coming across older boring platforms that have sunk down into all the debris.
Yeah, that's the other thing about this story. This thing's accumulating junk.
Yeah.
Well, this is, is what I would call the second major discovery.
Yes.
In the pit itself of what's being down there. This is kind of a big one. At around 153 to 154 feet, the drill goes through about 7 inches of what seemed to be cement, and then through about 5 inches of oak. And then the auger drops a couple of inches and came to rest embedded in, again, loose pieces of metal is what they hear knocking around on the drill bit there. And they keep going down 7 feet, and again, they hit 5 inches of wood and another 7 inches of concrete. Now, so you got to picture this. What you're drilling into is a wooden box that's encased in cement. And the cement has been tested.
Yes, it's been shown to be man-made.
And they believe that it's a crude form. But that's not anything unusual. The Romans had crude forms of cement that they were using. So the idea has been around a long time.
Yes.
But obviously, this is not something that just naturally was formed in the bottom of this pit, below these 2 chests that were previously found.
Right. And then after that, below that, they encountered iron that they could not get through.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Well, they hit 11 feet of blue puddled clay.
Right.
And then at 171 feet, the drill strikes iron that they can't get through. So again, that's a little weird.
Right.
That would be that far down there.
Now, this is an out there theory, but a theory that I had on this first discovery on this box, and also the iron that's now under it, was that maybe it was a false treasure. Designed to make people, we've got it, we've discovered, and they leave. And then it's like, no, if you go past that and you hit the iron, it's like, oh, that's a decoy.
Maybe.
Just
maybe
something,
so.
No, I wouldn't put it past these people.
No, and I've often thought that, and it's not just me. Another big theory direction is that this is all just a decoy. And
the whole pit itself.
Yes, for those that are smart enough or have the sacred knowledge to figure out the clues, there's an easy way to get to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not specifically what's there in the pit. It may be at a whole other location. But good luck wasting your time and money on this thing.
Yeah, and years, and 220 years. But
right.
And also in 1867, that's when they had gone to see a doctor.
Oh,
some of the stuff they brought up.
You know what? I think he was part of the team of investors. The orders were to bring everything that the drill had brought up, and they hadn't classified it yet. That's just a matter of separating out the bigger chunks. They wanted to see everything.
Yes.
And so the doctor, he had a microscope, or he had a very strong magnifying glass apparatus.
Well, and one of the specimens that they had was this little ball, right? And he starts rolling it around in his fingers, and he's like, wait a minute, and he opens it up. This is another major discovery. As he's unfolding this little piece of paper, it seems to have writing on it.
Yes, and all they can make out is that it's either the letters V and I, or maybe W and I, written in old script.
Right.
But the parchment was tested and by Harvard University specialists, and they determined that it was parchment paper and written with a quill pen with India ink.
Right. And did they date that?
I don't think it. No, I don't think it had ever been carbon. Well, they didn't have carbon dating back then. I think it's been lost to time, but it's a very small fragment, about the size of a dime. So you're talking about a tiny piece of paper here.
Yeah, very small. So anyway, after this, there's more shafts are dug. They flood. That happens over and over. In 1898, they did the first dye test, which. So what they're doing with these dye tests, and actually, if you've been watching the show on the Discovery Channel, they actually did this again. So that would be the third time a dye test has been done. But with this dye test...
This one worked, I think.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing. They were like, if we put this dye down in the pit, we should be able to find it where it's coming out when the tide's retreating, like low tide, and then we'll know where the flood tunnels start, and we can go and make sure that we get them for sure. So they put the dye down into the pit, and it comes out in Smith's Cove as expected. But then, big surprise, it comes out on the other side of the island, on the south side of the island in the other cove.
So now they think there's 2 flood tunnels.
Right. There's 2 tunnels.
At different levels.
On opposite sides of the island.
Opposite sides.
Yeah.
Again, this design gets more clever and ingenious and diabolical.
Exactly.
The further you get into it. Oh, I was going to say, another thing that was found here, and again, you were talking earlier about precious metals. Apparently, William Chappell, who was one of the investment team or one of the directors, found traces of gold sediment that he claims were on the auger after drilling into the money pit, but never told anybody until many years later. And I think it was Hedden that because he was still alive when Hedden, Gilbert Hedden, we're going to get to him.
Yeah.
But he never revealed that to anybody. Again, so many people these old guys are playing it so close to the vest. They don't want to reveal anything. But what kept him going is that each one who did was absolutely sure of a tremendous treasure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's in 1900, I think it was 1900, somewhere in that period, Frederick Blair's company, the Oak Island Treasure Company, folds. But Blair he's in this for life, and he's not leaving. His personal endeavor and his own company is folded. He is continuing to lease the land from Sophia Sellers, who was Anthony Graves' daughter, who is now getting up there as well. It takes him a while to get somebody to come in and go to work. In 1909, he attracts a company and a guy who seems like he's going to be well-funded, because that's the other thing Blair's doing is vetting everybody. And there's a lot of crazies. Crazies are coming. And they're saying, oh, I've got this thing. There was some guy that tried to come in with the pet freezing process or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, it's all just people who are trying to capitalize on the idea of the treasure. They raise money and then they run off. They don't have any intention of, finding it. They're going to go down in the pit with some crazy invention or maybe not.
Everybody believes they genuinely have the answer.
Yes, or their answer is to raise a ton of money and run away.
Yeah.
So he's vetting these people. So he's got this guy, Henry Bowdoin, all right, Bowdoi.
I would say Bowdoin, yeah,
I don't know how to say his name, but... and this guy is an adventurer, and he's really cocky. Like he's a big personality, and he sort of reminds me of the
he's another captain,
the guy in the blimp in Up.
What, Ed Asner? You mean the
that character? Yeah. No, not Ed Asner. The bad guy.
Oh,
the adventurer.
Yes. Oh, that's
But Bowdoin's prospectus actually said, with modern methods and machinery, the recovery of the treasure is easy. Ridiculously easy.
Yeah.
That's what he said in his perspective, trying to get investors in. So he was a flowery speaker. He had a lot of bravado, and I think I think it was him. He had the offices in Manhattan.
Yes. Another New York engineer.
Yeah, and he was going to use the Bowdoin airlock caisson, which a caisson is like a chamber that uses a positive air pressure to keep water out. And he's like, I'm going to put this down in there. It's going to be a piece of cake. So
you have some of the old players coming back in, which is interesting. So you have, in addition to Blair, you have Captain Welling. He's a board director. And you've got Treasurer L.H. Andrews. And this is another interesting name, G.D. Mosher. If you remember from the part one, because I've been making notes on this one, he was the guy who provided the pump. Back to the, I believe the Onslow Company, way back when, the pump blows up, or just it blows up. This is another. I don't know if they're related. I couldn't find any relation, but it's another guy named Mosher around this time. And again, there seems to be a lot of relatives and descendants working on this thing.
Small towns, and
Now, here's a little side note. I'll get this out of the way just because I want to be sure that we mentioned it. So Mr. Mosher appears in a newspaper article, likely from Halifax, and he says about 1925, his grandmother showed him a wooden trunk containing about 25 heavy canvas white bags filled with gold.
Wait. Who's his grandmother?
Well, his grandmother was Lucy Vaughn, a relative of Anthony Vaughn, one of the original diggers in 1795.
One of the original 3 boys.
Yes. And the trunk was said to have come from Oak Island, I guess as part of family lore. Now, at some point, Uncle Edward Vaughn took the trunk and disappeared.
Bailed on his family.
Yeah, leaving his property, business, wife, family, everybody, because he's now got a trunk full of gold. Nice guy.
Yeah.
But it shows you that, obviously, there's little bits of treasure here and there all over the place.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Mr. Mosher. All right, so anyway, and even though Bowdoin,
I would say, yes.
Even though Bowdoin had all this bravado and his offices in Manhattan, and he was a big talker and everything, he still had a hard time raising money, which I think is a sign to, like, people were not buying it, especially in New York. investors were pretty sophisticated at that point, and people are thinking twice. I don't care what you're saying. This is a wild goose chase. But he did get some people. He got enough people to do a little bit of work, and he got a little bit of the money, not as much as he wanted. One of the most famous participants in Baudouin's company was FDR.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
He was 27 years old.
Yeah,
he was a
young
law
lawyer.
clerk.
Yeah.
So, and he actually went to the island during that. It was one of the only time he'd actually been to the island.
It's a good summer vacation.
Yeah, he had family that had land near there, so he knew the area pretty well.
And also, he's a Mason.
He was a Mason already at that age?
Yes, I believe. Wow. Well, no, you can join when you're a young man. And, people did more stuff earlier on than we seem to do today. But
anyway, so they dynamited the original pit. That was one of, this is, by the way, this guy is not subtle. And unfortunately,
for an engineer, too.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's not going to be the worst one. We got that guy's coming up. But he's dynamiting the pit. He drilled 28 boreholes, and boreholes are like small holes.
Test
yeah,
holes.
So you can bring up core samples and sort of see what's going on. Found all the same stuff everybody else did. Putty, gravel, clay, sand, all the stuff. Runs out of money. He had wanted to raise $10,000 or $15,000 or something. I can't remember, 20. He only raised $5,000. And he burned through it super quick. And when he quit with extreme prejudice. He totally went full on jerkball. All right. I mean, because he actually was writing articles into the Collier's. He sent an article in saying,
August. Yeah.
Do you have the information on that?
Well,
the whole thing is a hoax.
Yeah. Because he didn't find anything and he didn't want to look like a failure. So in August 18th, I think, Collier's Magazine publishes an article where he called it's a hoax. There's nothing there. The tunnel and the treasure never existed.
Right.
It was
By the way, the title of that article, that one of many times that I think it said the Oak Island mystery is solved. By the way, that's been said about 1,000 times.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, nowadays it's clickbait. They haven't solved anything. It's just somebody's opinion that has slapped together a misspelled YouTube video that's 5 minutes long.
Yeah, there's so many. There's the Baghdad battery, there's the boat that fell down a hole. We'll get to those later.
Yeah, so many.
Anyway,
so many.
Other companies are trying to get funding now. Baudouin is out. Scammers are still coming along. And then finally in 1931, William Chappell returns. And he had left to go work his family's business, which was lumber, and had apparently made a lot of money. The problem with what Baudouin had done with the dynamiting was that nobody was actually really sure where the money pit was anymore.
Oh, no, that happens to this day. They can't find, they're not totally sure where the original one was.
Yeah. I mean, there was obviously no GPS back then.
It's no trace, I'll tell you that. Everyone's just stomping around. And this is the problem afterwards with other crews is that they then have to clear the whole pit and remove all the junk that has fallen down there and is now rotting.
Exactly.
Metal, garbage, some tools. So now they have to clear all that out, plus all the other little tunnels that everybody has been digging laterally between their other holes.
And to add to all of this, the flood tunnels are flowing 600 to 800 gallons per minute with the tide coming in and out. Any debris that's down there is being pushed all over the place.
Yeah, so they're not sure where these trunks were that fell down into a connecting tunnel.
Right.
They don't know what happened to them.
Right. So now Blair is trying to figure out what to do next. In 1931, Sophia Sellers dies. Now, she was Anthony Gray's eldest daughter, right? She has 12 heirs. There's grandchildren and I think 2 siblings and grandchildren or something like that. They are all money hungry. They don't want to lease it anymore. They want to sell it. They're trying to get Blair to buy it, and he says it's ridiculous. So there's these problems with, and this is an ongoing thing. Who has a treasure trove license and who has the rights to the land or owns the land? Those are two different things, believe it or not. If you have a treasure trove license, you can go onto someone else's land and look for treasure.
That was a later ruling, right?
Yeah, that was a later ruling. But initially you could.
To make it easier, because, some of these guys had political pull.
Right. And so now, and oh, by the way, I wanted to just quickly, another book that we referenced, which was a little bit loosey-goosey on some of the facts, but it's pretty fascinating. It's called The Oak Island Enigma by Thomas P. Leary.
Kind of a booklet.
Yeah, it's a booklet. He actually self-published it, which I admire that.
Oh, that was cool.
I self-published a book myself back in the 90s, and so I feel like he's a kindred spirit.
Well, please don't get into that.
No, okay. Anyway, I just want to read these 3 paragraphs from his book really quick, since we're passing on into the 1900s here. This is something that happened in 1870, according to his book. This story is littered with this kind of stuff. You think you know everything about Oak Island? I thought I knew it. I didn't know a tenth of it. Here I am quoting the book. In 1870, a stranger appeared in the Mahone Bay area, dark-complected and speaking with an accent. He bought a sloop for $2,500 and hired 2 local fishermen to sail it. He took the boat 30 miles out to sea to a point south of Halifax. There he took a sight on the sun and set a northwest course back to the mainland. As the sloop approached the shore, he took out an ancient chart and studied it intently. This he kept mostly concealed from the fishermen, but they reported the writing on it was something like Yiddish or script German. The course he set brought him not into Mahone Bay, but St. Margaret's Bay, a few miles northeast. He kept this up almost every day until fall and returned to repeat the performance the following spring. Apparently, he never found what he was looking for because he disappeared soon afterward.
Oh, there you go.
That's just a little side story.
One more treasure. one more possibly connected or unconnected treasure story about the area.
Yeah, it's just crazy all the people that are showing up.
Well, this is what I think it's been so confusing all throughout the years, is that there could be possible other clues that aren't even related that are being found on the island. And there could be other treasures, other people from other times, all leaving a marker here, which may be misinterpreted or plowed over.
Yes.
You know, it's made it all confusing.
It has, yeah.
So in 1931, there's a couple of other interesting finds that are made. I think this is in what's called the Chapel Shaft by his team there. And I think between 115 and 130 feet in the new shaft, the guys find what's called an anchor fluke. And you probably know that as a sailor there. It's one of the blades of an anchor, right?
Yes.
And it's stuck into the side of the tunnel. And then something looking like a 250-year-old axe.
Yes.
Acadian axe of the region, a miner's pick, and the remnants of an oil lamp with seal oil in it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so there's so now more artifacts are being found.
That was in the Chapel Shaft.
Yes, I believe so. And then there's one interesting thing, another clue, that I think Captain Welling found when he was with Frederick Blair, that he relates to Mel Chappell, I believe. And this is a triangular...
William Chappell's son.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Melbourne is his full name.
Or Melbourne.
Well, yeah, but everyone calls us Mel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said Melvin. Melbourne, yeah.
You're thinking of me and Melvin.
Yeah.
Melvin and me. They find an equilateral set of stones making a triangle, and the sides of which are 10 feet long. There's a base to it, and below the base is kind of a half circle. And so what this looks like to a lot of the people at the time is a sextant,
right?
A sailing navigational device. And if you take the main line that's kind of off the center, it points true north and gets you very close to the money pit on the south shore.
Yes, this triangle is going to come up again. They actually weren't really sure what to make of it.
No.
It was discovered, and then like a lot of things, sort of not paid a lot of attention to for years and years after that.
Right. And one more little secret that nobody told anybody about for 31 years. William Chappell then tells Frederick Blair he noticed traces of yellow metal or gold on the drill bit during 1897. And so, again, a little something that somebody's keeping a secret about something possibly very valuable.
Traces of gold.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so now, 1935, Gilbert Hedden comes into the picture. And
another Mason.
Yeah, that's right. Another Mason. And maybe there's a connection there.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was loaded. His dad had a steel company that was sold to Bethlehem Steel in Pennsylvania. He had a pretty sophisticated knowledge of engineering, but technically, though, he was not an engineer. And he wanted to dig really bad.
Yeah, certainly not a mining engineer.
Yeah, not a mining engineer. But at the time, Blair could not get the lease for the land from Sophia Seller's kids. They just would not give it up. They had marked it up and were like, you have to buy it. We're not leasing it anymore. And he was like, these prices are ridiculous. But Hedden, who had all the money and wanted to work with Blair, agreed to buy the land from Sophia's kids for $5,000. So they buy all the land that they need to get to the money pit. Now, the original pit is still lost. They're not sure exactly where it is. And Hedden's pretty good about looking around for things. At one point, he finds a rock at Judry's Cove that has a Roman number 2 on it and the letters G-I-N, but it's incomplete. It's clearly been either blown up or separated from other parts of a boulder. They are looking for the rest of the boulder. The problem was that someone had discovered it earlier with the writing on it, and thinking something would be under it, they dynamited it.
Oh, jeez.
And of course, nobody wrote down what it said.
Is it? Yeah, well, no.
It's like, let's just dynamite. Everything is like, dynamite it.
It doesn't matter anyway. They probably wouldn't have been able to figure it out. This is the thing. Oh,
yeah, maybe we could now.
Was that discovered by Hedden? Gilbert Hedden?
Well, he found the rock, but whoever found it the first time and blew it up, I don't think they are sure.
Okay.
It's a loss to history.
Good idea. It's February 5th. Happy birthday to Tim Meadows. The actor turned 63 today. News is next.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Spear. America's top diplomat is back in the Middle East, meeting Saudi Arabia's crown prince before heading off to Egypt and Qatar. As NPR's Michelle Kelman explains, the U.S. is pushing for a new deal for Gaza that would see a long pause in fighting in exchange for release of hostages held by Hamas.
The secretary met for about 2 hours with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, but didn't speak to reporters as he returned to his hotel in Riyadh. The State Department says the two continued discussions on a post-war Gaza and talked about the urgent need to reduce regional tensions. This is his 5th trip to the region since the war in Gaza began. He's planning stops in Egypt, Qatar, Israel, and the occupied West Bank. This latest trip comes as the U.S. has been striking at Iranian-backed militias in the region, including in Yemen. The Biden administration says it doesn't want an escalation, but will target militias that attack U.S. troops in the region. Michelle Kellerman, NPR News, Riyadh.
Britain's King Charles III has cancer. That's according to a statement from Buckingham Palace. NPR's Lauren Frere reports from London.
Buckingham Palace says that while King Charles was hospitalized recently for an enlarged prostate, another, quote, separate issue of concern was noted, and that subsequent tests have identified a form of cancer. The statement doesn't specify which type. It does say the king has already started a schedule of regular treatments and that he remains, quote, wholly positive. Doctors have advised the 75-year-old monarch to postpone all public duties, but the statement says he'll continue to handle state business and paperwork as usual. Lauren Frere, NPR News, London.
While senators have released a highly anticipated $118 billion bill that pairs stiffer border enforcement with wartime aid for Ukraine and Israel, the measure is facing an uncertain future. House Speaker Mike Johnson has said the Senate bill won't clear the House. Hardline Republicans have savaged the proposal, saying the border restrictions are too weak, while some Democrats say they're too harsh. Former President Donald Trump has also actively campaigned against the measure, in part apparently over concerns it might allow President Biden to receive some credit for addressing the surge of migrants at the border. Another manufacturing problem affecting the completion of dozens of Boeing aircraft. Here's NPR's Scott Horsley.
Boeing, whose shares are part of the Dow Index, says it may have to delay delivery of about 50 new 737 aircraft after finding holes that were improperly drilled in the jets. One of the country's largest meat packers, Tyson Foods, reported better than expected quarterly profits after shuttering several of its chicken and beef processing plants. Many cattle ranchers thinned their herds 2 years ago in response to drought. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
Stocks closed lower on Wall Street today. The Dow was down 274 points, or roughly 0.75%. The Nasdaq fell 31 points today. You're listening to NPR. Singer-songwriter Tracy Chapman was one of several music legends who performed at last night's Grammy Awards telecast. NPR's Mandalita Albarca reports her renaissance moment continues.
It's been 35 years since Tracy Chapman was the Grammy's Best New Artist. Her folk anthem Fast Car was nominated for 3 awards and won Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. She sang it again on stage at last night's ceremony, a duet with country singer Luke Combs. Combs' cover version has been dominating the country charts. At the Grammys, he paid tribute to Chapman and bowed to her in reverence. Immediately after her surprise appearance, Chapman's original version of the song shot to #1 on the iTunes Top Songs chart. Her 1989 debut album also climbed to the top of the iTunes chart. Mandalita Albarco, NPR News.
While by some measures the U.S. economy is healthy and continuing to get healthier, there are also signs some middle and lower income consumers are running up against borrowing limits. In fact, some people have been running up their balances and falling behind in terms of paying off their credit cards. Just the latest sign, 2 years of high prices have had an impact. Credit rating company Moody's says it's looked at credit card delinquency and charge-off levels and found they are well above 2019 levels. In the third quarter of last year, Americans held more than $1 trillion on their credit cards, a historic high. Crude oil futures prices moved higher amid a ratcheting up of Mideast tensions. Oil rose 50 cents a barrel to $72.78 a barrel in New York. I'm Jack Spear, NPR News in Washington.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Jarl and Pamela Mohn, focusing on civil liberties, foster youth, public radio, and the arts. And the Public Welfare Foundation, committed to advancing transformative youth and criminal.
Also in 1936, he found what's
Till
called
you drop.
Rastaman live up. Bongo man don't give up. Congo man live up. Bingy man don't give up. Keep your culture. Don't be afraid of the vulture. Grow your dreadlocks. Don't be afraid of the wolf pack. Rastaman live up. Bingy man don't give up. Congo man live up. Yeah. Bongo man don't give up. David slew Goliath with a sling and a stone. Samson slew the Philistines with a donkey jawbone. I am man live up. Rastaman don't give up. Bingy man live up. Yeah. Congo man don't give up. Trudging through creation is not
Rasta man live up. Bingy man don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Wake up this morning, feeling so good, feeling so good. Oh, it's the best, this wonderful feeling I just can't express. How much I wanna share with you the way that I'm feeling. If I am on top of a mountain and down the morning sun, on top of a mountain having so much fun, on top of a mountain till the evening comes, on top of a mountain where pleasure's never done, feeling the freedom all around me. And I hope that you're feeling the same. Feeling the same way that I'm feeling. And if I am on top of a mountain where clean water flows, on top of a mountain where cool wind blows, on top of a mountain where it sometimes snows, on top of a mountain where everything glows, feeling the power all around me. And I hope that you're feeling the same. Feeling the same way that I'm feeling in my soul. Oh, so good, Lord. Oh no, oh no. Oh, what sweet sensation from nature's provision. Oh, I'm addicted, for sure I'm committed, and feeling so good, and I hope that you're feeling the same. Feeling the same way that I'm feeling, happier than a happy man, as happy as can be, freer than a free man, as free can be. See me, feeling the freedom all around me.